What's the most unfair thing you've witnessed happen to someone who didn't deserve it? My neighbor Ray had been the head groundskeeper at Oak Hill Cemetery for 23 years. At 58, he knew every inch of those 40 acres, which irrigation pipes froze first in winter, which old oaks needed watching during storms, which graves belonged to widows who still visited weekly with fresh flowers. Ray wasn't just maintenance, he was the cemetery's memory. He kept handwritten maps of unmarked graves from the 1920s flu epidemic. He could direct you to any headstone without checking a computer. During funerals, he'd quietly ensure fresh soil was spread over equipment tracks and that chairs didn't sink into soft ground. The cemetery had been owned by the same local family for generations, but last year they sold to Dignity Memorial Partners, a corporate chain. The new management installed electronic gates, replaced the wrought iron fence with cheaper aluminum, and slashed the groundskeeping budget by 40%. Their new operations manager was Marcus Webb, fresh from business school with a theory about operational efficiencies in the death care sector. In his first week, he called the maintenance shed embarrassingly antiquated and complained that Ray's record-keeping system wasn't digitized. Ray tried adapting. He stayed late learning their new software, entering decades of notes into their system. He attended their corporate training sessions on customer service excellence, though he'd been comforting grieving families since Marcus was in kindergarten. Then came the Memorial Day incident. The cemetery had always held a special service where Ray would place flags on veterans' graves, a tradition started by his own father, who'd worked there before him. Ray had ordered the flags months in advance, but Marcus canceled the order, calling it an unnecessary expense and not aligned with our streamlined operational vision. When families showed up expecting to see flags honoring their loved ones, Ray used his own money to buy as many as he could from local stores. He spent Sunday night placing them himself, working until 3 a.m. with his arthritic knees screaming in pain. The next morning, Marcus called Ray into his office. I know this part verbatim because Ray's wife told me while crying on our porch. Your independent initiative represents insubordination, Marcus said. You deliberately undermined a management decision. Those families expected flags, Ray answered. Their fathers and husbands and sons died for this country. This is a business, not a charity, Marcus replied. If they want decorations, we offer premium memorial packages they can purchase. Ray was fired on the spot. No severance, no acknowledgement of his 23 years. Marcus had security escort him off the property, not even allowing him to collect his personal tools from the shed, tools Ray's father had used before him. The final insult came 2 weeks later. Marcus hired Ray's assistant Kevin, 30 years younger and willing to work for much less, then had Kevin call Ray to ask where certain water main shutoffs were located. They'd forgotten Ray had never entered those into their system. Ray told him everything. Of course he did. Those graves weren't bargaining chips to him. Last month, I drove past Oak Hill. The grass was patchy, with brown spots where irrigation was malfunctioning. Several old headstones had toppled after spring floods, still lying flat and unrepaired. The floral tributes at the entrance, ones Ray refreshed daily, were gone, replaced by artificial arrangements from the cemetery's new memorial boutique. Ray now works at Home Depot in the garden section, a job I know he doesn't enjoy like he did the cemetery. Marcus got promoted to regional manager for achieving operational savings targets. This was all about 2 years ago. Thinking about it now still makes my blood boil.